All right, so just to be sure, you have read the consent form and the release form and you've signed them. Do you have any questions about that?
Well, I haven't read, but I assuming you explain to me, and then I just sign. I'm okay with that.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. So I would like to get started by having you tell us your name and also how to spell your name.
Okay. My name is Blia Cha, and my first name is spelled Blia. I have an initial M, and I have my last name is spelled Cha.
All right, thank you. Just trying to make sure this is right. All right, so go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself. Where you were born. What do you do on a day-to-day basis? Like, tell us just like kind of an overview. Who are you?
Okay. Well, I am a Hmong woman. I was born in Laos, and during my childhood, the country was on war. Vietnam War was happening there, and my family just keep moving from place to place. And throughout all my childhood, I never be able to stay in one place permanent. So we keep moving, and I will attend grade school for probably until about 6 years. Then after that, we keep moving, and then I will start my life by helping my aunt sell product. At those days, we live in a small province in the countryside. Then we have to travel to the big city to buy product like dry noodle and seasoning and clothing, battery, and many household item need. So you can go to the city and come back and sell. So that's what I've been doing on my teen life. So that is what's happening when I was growing up.
Okay. So I guess my next question is, so you grew up in Laos.
Mm-hmm.
So when did you come to America? Did you move immediately to Wisconsin and Milwaukee, or did you go somewhere else?
Well, in 1976, we came to this country. At that time, I was married, have a child, and about 7 months pregnant in 1976. So we came to Fort Smith, Arkansas. We stayed there for 2 years. Then our family is just the only one family there, and we're so lonely. So we call around our relative who came to different state in the U.S. and we decided to move. At those days in Arkansas, we lived there. It was very difficult to find job. My husband was working, and I was looking for job, but I can't find any job. So we called around and then decided to move to Denver. So we have some friends in Denver, and they say, why don't you move over here? We even have a whole church that speak our own language. And we were so happy then. And we decided that we moved to Denver. And we also called our uncle in Milwaukee here, and they say, oh yes, if you move down there, we're going to move down there too, because we're lonely up here too. So we both decided to move to Denver. Now, when we get to Denver, the uncle that lived in Milwaukee, he called. He even sent some of his personal property by train, but his family still live here. So Then when we arrived in Denver, then he called back and then said, well, we decided not to come because I just got a job, a good job. And I don't think I can do better than that in Denver. So he decided he not moving down there. And then at those days, we already there. So we stayed there for 10 months. And then, should I continue?
Go ahead.
Okay. Then my husband and me start going to school for ESL, learn English, and we trying to learn typing. My first time learning how to type, and we stayed there for 10 months. Well, while we were there, I pregnant my twin. I didn't know it was twins, so I was pregnant, and on my 4th month, I gained so much weight that my doctor said, well, we need ultrasound because we don't know. You might have twins, but we don't know. So then he sent me to get an ultrasound, and then they say, yeah, you have twins. And there were 2 bodies in there. We know that. So we say, okay, twins is fine. Then at that time, when we were in Denver, we go to school. Then there was a hospital called General Hospital. Everyone that on the state assistant, you have to go to that hospital. And then I have to go there because we have we used to work in Arkansas, but in Denver we totally stay on welfare and go to school, and we have nothing but whatever the government provide. So that hospital give us a lot of rumor, bad story, that a lot of the people in there are not helping, but they only trying to study you or cut you up and all kind. And one time the husband and wife was going to the hospital to deliver a baby. And then when they arrived in the emergency room, her baby is about to come out, and they said, no, you cannot deliver the baby here. So they make her, this is the story that people bring to the school and talk about. And then they said that her baby about to come out, and then all the nurse and doctor tie her leg up, and then say, no, you can't deliver the baby. And they push her to the delivery room, and her husband was chasing after her. Then they shot him out, and then they said he must sign a consent to allow them to operate on her because she can't not deliver the baby, something like that. And then he said, no, she should not be cut open. She can deliver the baby on her own. And then they keep on fighting, and then he fight with them, and then they tie him down, and he kicked some people. And then after they cut her open and get the baby out, and they just have a horrible story, okay? And then everybody just scared about that hospital. So now I am pregnant, and I am about 5 months pregnant now. And they say, well, at those days I gained so much weight that they say, well, I might not be able to stay the whole term. They have to do something because I'm gaining too much. So then we were so scared that they might, cut me open again. So we just decided to look somewhere else to go. And this little thing made us move to Milwaukee.
So you moved to Milwaukee because you wanted a safer place to deliver your kid.
Yeah.
Oh.
I called my aunt and uncle who supposed to come down, and we say, how is hospital there? How is doctor over there? And job. And then they said, wow, our doctor is so wonderful. He is Filipino. He's take care of our kid, and he's fine. He's good. And I would just say, okay, we got to move. And at that time, I was 7 months pregnant. It's so big that I just have to fly. And all my family have to drive here. So I came here to deliver my baby. These are very funny story, but real life for me. Okay. And then when we arrived here, we went to see the doctor, and then they was able to take care of my pregnancy until closing, and then he take ultrasound, and he said that my baby doesn't stay the same way. They don't line up. One is going across my tummy, one is going down. And he said this kind of baby can be difficult delivery, but he know what to do. So when I delivered my baby, it was normal delivery, but he have to after the first one come out, he have to push and make the other one turn around and make his head come in. And I've been told that he have to pull out the baby out, so it was fine. So, but that's how we land in Milwaukee. And when I came to Milwaukee, we was able to make friends. We have a lot of wonderful friends that it's we only have an uncle and aunt here. But they have other friends from church, American people. They come and meet us. When we moved here, we actually inherit about 12 families to come with us, because our relative who came to different state moved down to where we are in Denver, and then we go and get all of them to come. We was gonna live in Denver, so they all came to Denver, and we have 12 family together. Then we call everyone up. We are moving. Are you ready? And they just say, well, wherever you go, we're gonna go. So we say, okay, Milwaukee is where we want to go. And everyone just say, okay, we'll go there. So the 12 family, they just drove. I know that one of my husband's aunt and her son and me and my son flew here by plane, but the rest just drove car here. So 12 family came at one time. It was kind of difficult to find a place right away. So before we came here, we just tell our uncle, go look for property and put some deposit on houses. And because when we arrive, you might not be able to find 12 houses at one time, but at least you find 4 or 5 houses, and we can stack together like, a bunch of something, whatever. And then they say, okay. So first we live with our family for 1 day or 2. Then we move to the house, to every house that we can find. And at those days, landlords are very picky, because they do not get used to a big family of 5, 6, 8 like that. They're not get used to that, and they only want to rent for 4 people. So it's kind of hard, but we take anything that we can find, and all those friends that are my aunt and uncle who live here first that know them, they was able to find a lot of the property, and they are member of Ambrook Church. I don't know, you know Ambrook Church? They were a member of a big church, so they was able to announce to the members that if you have any unused things, stove, refrigerator, furniture, clothing, we need it all. So they just came and provide that to the 12 of family that came together with us. So that was big move.
Yeah. So I have a question. So did you immediately move to this neighborhood and this community, or was it a different one first?
My first house was on State and 28. Yeah, State and 28. It was 3 unit, 2 upstairs and then 1 downstairs. So I live in the lower unit, and my uncle and their daughter live on the second floor. Right now I'm trying to go past there. I think they fixed so much there that I cannot even recognize which one I used to live there, because it used to have big tree in front of the house, and now everything's cut down, so it's hard to identify. I originally stay in this neighborhood, and a lot of my relatives live on State Street, and some of the property on State and 20th Street got knocked down. It's very old building, so it's just field now there. That is 1980.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So my next question would be, you mentioned earlier, like 10 minutes ago, that your uncle, when he was considering moving to Denver with you, he said he felt kind of lonely. So were there a lot of Hmong residents in the area before the 12 families moved in, or did you kind of create your own community?
He told us that there were 7 family of them, Hmong people in Milwaukee, including his family, but that's still small amount of number. And then we were Christian before we came to this country, so everyone want to go to church, want to sing your own language song, and you want to listen to the pastor that speak your language. At those days, everyone doesn't speak English well, so you can go to church, but you don't know what they are talking about. So even though they have 7 family in Milwaukee before we arrived, some of the family are not Christian, and they don't go to church, so they hardly see each other. But he said there were some people in town, but he's still lonely because he want a group that can associate together and talk. So that's why he willing to move.
Awesome. That's like an amazing trajectory of your life right there. So I guess I'd like to ask you now about the story of how you came to be working at Axe. Like,
Okay.
I guess, what did you do before you were at Axe? Like,
Okay.
how did you end up here?
In 1980, I arrived in Milwaukee, then had my baby. After that, I was hired to. I worked in a factory a lot of time, and I kept getting laid off, then get a job, got laid off, get a job. Then for one time I was working as translator with the health department for a while, and then I got after that while I get that job, there was an opportunity for me to go to Security. Those days, I don't know, you know the company named Security. It's Security, they make the box for a power plant, like electrical box and big machine. And I have a friend working there, and if I get a job there, I make double than what I'm doing translator. So I said, okay, if I can get a job there, I'll move there. Then I went over there, worked for 2 years. Then they moved down south, and they closed. They downside. They only keep couple people that worked there a long time. So I lost my job there. Then I go again to the field looking for job, and I was working many jobs, mainly in the factory. Then I got laid off, and I was going to school. I'm trying to get my GED those days. That was in in 1993. I got laid off, and I go to school. Then I heard my friend said that, well, he bought a property from John Warm for $1, a dollar home. And then I said, oh, is it real? Is it true? And he said, yeah. Well, that person also came to our church, so he shared the story that, yeah, if you're willing to fix, it need a lot of fixing, and you might be, you can buy it. And I think that, well, I can fix. How? I think I can. At that time, I already owned my own home, so I decided. I didn't know that it's only for owner occupy at that time. So I said, okay, I'm gonna call John up. I'm gonna buy a couple of those homes. I'm gonna fix it up and rent it out. That's my plan. So I called John, and John is the founder of this organization. I don't know if you know that, but then he was working for the city of Milwaukee, but he decided that he want to move to the location where it need the most, so he can meet with people and he can do more to the people. Then he have contact with Father Dennis, and Father Dennis will have a plan that, oh yes, some of our member here own home around our church for a long time, and they want to move out, and they want the owner occupy move in, and also a lot of rental property that the landlord was somewhere else and they don't take care. So why don't you move to the church and then run that? So that's what John was paid by the city, but moved in to work here in the location in St. Mike. And then that's why he was able to find some of the local renter and say, do you want to own your home? If you want to own your home, we can help. Ask the seller, the owner, to see if they want to sell to you. And then he was trying to put deal for them, and also a lot of the property that city have tax foreclosure on, and he want to get rid of that, put a new homeowner into these homes. So that's why he's able to connect with some of the Hmong people that rent in the area and put a lot of deal with them. So I said, okay, I'm gonna call John up. I'm gonna buy a couple of those property. I keep getting laid off. I'm gonna be a landlord. I want to rent house. So I called John, and he is so busy that he never returned my call. But I keep calling, and after a couple of weeks went by, he finally returned. And at that time, me and my husband bought a property from the VA at 33rd and Village Street, and we fixed it up. and my in-law moved in there and lived. Um, so then we saw another board up house across the street, and we want to buy that one. And I called John up. I said, then John said, okay, I will come to see the property with you. He finally come out and look at it. And when we would go through the board up, all messed up, how old, and then he said, well, I am looking for an owner-occupied buyer. And I said, I already own home. And then he said, well, do you have family that don't own, that want to buy? I said, yes. And he said, well, you can call them up and then have them come, and we're going to do a home sale event. Ask everyone to come out, and we're going to do lottery draw. If more than one person want to buy the house, we got to do lottery draw. But we only look for owner-occupied. I said, okay. I feel that, okay, if I don't be able to buy, at least some of my family can buy it. That's good, because they are renting right now. So I call a lot of the family over and then say, well, this is the day that we're going to open this house. And you can buy for $1, but you need to fix it up. So that one day, a lot of the people come out. And then we do the lottery draw. You know what? None of my family get the house. It's another person that in the neighborhood that we invite them to come over, and then he get the house. And then I say, okay, that's fine. As long as he lives there, and I have another house nearby. So if he take care of his house, at least it's good for my in-law, because they feel safer now, So then after that one deal, John said, well, seems like you know what you're doing and you can do good. Do you want to come and work for Axe? I said, well, yeah, I'm laid off now, go to school and work part-time, and then I can do that. What can I do there? He said, well, I have no money to hire you, but you can volunteer. Do what you just do today. Do just that. Call people up. When we have a house, call people up and set up time and advertise. Pass the word out. So invite everybody out. That's all you do. And beside that, you can follow me. Whatever I do, you can watch me. And you learn from that. And if you are interested, I'm going to write a proposal to the county, to the city, and if I have some funding, I will hire you. But right now, I don't have money. And I say, okay, well, I figure that I want to learn more about real estate, and I go to school part-time, and I can do this part-time and learn to see what the trade is. So I say, okay, John, I'm willing to do what you do. And he said, but to do what I'm doing well, you need to go get your real estate license. Okay, you have to go to school. And I said, I don't think I can get that. That sounds like difficult, And he said, yes, you can. If you can set up a time to do a showing and many people come like that, you can do this. And I said, okay, I believe you. I'll do it. So that's when I start with ACT, volunteer and go to school to get my real estate license. And those days he said, oh, well, we don't have money to pay for your school, but you have to pay for your own school. If you pass your real estate license, I will reimburse you for the school and for the the license. And if you don't pass, I can't reimburse you. I said, okay, that's fine. Then I pay on my own school. I go to school and I have my tests, and then working part-time for a while until he find grant to hire me. They pay me very lousy, small amount of money, but I'm not thinking about the money that they pay me. What I'm looking for is I need the knowledge. I keep getting laid off from company, and I want to be able to know the real estate field. I want to know more. And if he willing to train me, that's what I want to do. So I don't remember for how long. Then he get the grant, approved some small amount of money. So he hired me, and then I still continue go to school, and then I finally got my sales license. Then getting my sales license, I cannot perform the whole job by myself. I have to work under another manager, broker. So he is a broker. I have to work under his broker. But John, if you know him, he is the type that very cheap. Okay, he's rich man, but he's very cheap on everything. So he doesn't want to be member of multiple listing service and be member of the WRA Real Estate Association. In order for you to be fully recognized, and when you ask for showing, people will let you show their other property. You have to pay the due, pay the membership. It costs like $600 to $700 a year. And then the multiple listing service costs every month over $100 every month. And then he's not willing to do all that. So when I work under his wing, I have very limited source to show house. When I call, some nice agent might allow me to show their listing, but some say no, we're not allowing you to because you're not a member. So I just say, okay, John, if you're not willing to be member of the whole business thing, I'm gonna go for my broker license and run my own agency. And he said, okay, you can do that. So I say, okay. Then I go back to school and study. It doesn't take long to get the class, but after you have your hour in and your class in, then you have to pass the test. And for a person who do not read English well like me, it's difficult, It's difficult to pass the test because these tests are provided by the state, and you go to the computer and they just issue from Madison, and every time you go get a test, it's 80 some baht to have the test. If you don't pass, they don't let you take right away. You have to come back and study, some more, and then set up the test again and go take your test. So every time I have to go second test, it costs me a lot of money. But I said, okay, I'm gonna do the whole 9 yards, do whatever it takes. So I was able to get my broker license. To get my sales license, I have to do tests 2 times to pass. But when I do my broker license, thanks God, he let me do 1 test and I passed. I think it's not because I know how. I'm just guessing a lot of the question, okay? I don't know a lot of them. But when you kind of work a while, you kind of know the term, of real estate. So it kind of help a little. So But I'm pretty sure you know in real estate or in any license that state approved, every 2 years you have to go and get continual education down, and you have to recertify your license, or else you don't get your license to practice. So every 2 years I struggle again, but since we have a big group now, at those days, only me and John. And John is not the one that willing to do everything, but every 2 years we both can go to a class together for, and then that is kind of help because he can help me some of the answer that I don't know. Now that we have big group, we can buy our thing through the website, and we can learn together, and we can do tests together, help each other out in, like us sitting down together, and then that help a lot. Okay. And like in real estate, I cannot know everything before I can do. Every day now I still learn things every day, and it just because real estate is like all the contract that you draft. If you draft in a slightly not protected your buyer, it can get into a negative, and later on it might not protect your buyer. You might lost the deal, something like that. So it's always challenge, and that's how I get to ACTS. And I've been with ACT for 22 years, and I think ACT's been growing in the last more like the last 5 years, more growing. But in the early day, just like the beginning, just two of us working. Then after maybe 5-6 years, then 4. Then, I think the last 5 years we grow so fast because more of the people are finding resource and funding, and they need to hire more people. They feel to do more work. But I still do the same amount of job every day. Yeah.
So can you tell me a little bit more about what exactly you do every day? You come to work and the first thing you do is, and then you do?
Yeah. All my files have a deadline. So for right now I have about 12 in process. As time go, I close file out and new file come in. So most of my buyers that I help them, they at closing, I will give them 2 of my business card, and I say, well, if you think that I provide you good service, and if you think you have family or friend want to buy house like you, and they want that kind of service that we provide, you have them call me. I can help them. So I gave husband 2 car, wife 2 car, and say, okay, pass the word out to your family. And those people have been calling me, okay? They've been calling me. So every time they go to work, they talk. They go to work, they say, I just bought my first house. I just closed my first house. And they tell their co-worker all about how I can help them, and then okay, and then their relative friend, they just say, okay, I want to buy house. Okay, they just pass the word out. Okay, so everyone call that want to buy house call, and then what my everyday is people call. They call myself. I got 2 phones, either my cell phone or my office phone. They call, and then they want to set an appointment to meet me. So my everyday thing is I have appointment to meet new people, or I process my file, or the meeting new people. We have a sheet list of things that they need to bring to see me. So when they call me, I just have to give them the list and they say, these are the things you need to bring to see me. Then when I see them, I collect everything. I teach them. Part of my thing is doing counseling with them, and I'm telling them when you own a home, you need to reserve money for repair because there's no landlord to come fix your house now. You got to do it yourself, so you need to save money for things that broke down. And I will teach them the good and the bad of owning and renting, all those things. And then I will send their information for pre-approval. As soon as they get a pre-approval, I have the obligation to meet their need by calling them, showing them how, giving them a lot of listing to look at, and make appointment to show them house. And when they find a house that they like, I write the offer for them. When we have the offer, then there's a deadline in the offer that every step need to be met. So I have to be the one that look at those steps. They don't know anything. I am the one that's supposed to be the one that know, because they don't know when they can do home inspection. They don't know when they to do the loan application, when to buy insurance, when to close. You can tell them everything is in the offer, but some of my buyer doesn't read. So they relying on me to tell them, this is the step you need to do this, do that. And then this work is so controlling me that a lot of time I have no time for vacation. Okay, my 20th year here, I hardly can go vacation unless I decided to go out of country. Then I just kind of block myself out. And then I used to do this, go to Laos and Thailand for a month. And then I would just say, well, whatever the file in process, I write everything down. It need this, need that, and closing date that day. So that used to be that my manager, he is a real estate person, so he know what to help me. Right now, Mike is not a real estate person, so he doesn't know how to help me, and I haven't feel confident to go on vacation because I know that we have other realtor in the office, but everyone have their place for on their own, and we have different location, north, south, and here. So they might not be here to look at my file, so I don't feel free to go on vacation. And go back to my everyday thing is, when I walk in my office, the first thing I do is look at my email to see if all the deadline, if I write an offer in, they're supposed to respond to me by Monday. Then I look for responding. I look for all the things that need attention right away. I will take care of that first. Then I go to the email that I can, it's not as urgent. Then I go to my voicemail and try to listen to see if anything urgent. Then look at my file, see what the process is, and call the loan officer. What's next? What happened? did you order appraisal? What do we have to do now? When will we have loan commitment? It's just constantly these call to the lender, call my buyer. A lot of time, call my buyer to bring more information, and it's as soon as you have an offer accepted, that file is a lie. You got to push every day towards closing. You got to focus on that file, or nobody else gonna look at it but you. So all the realtor just, I think if they want to do their job well, that's what they have to do. You cannot just let it go by and it will take care by itself. No, it's not like that. You just have to look at it. So I make a must do is like I have to touch my file every other day, like see what's going on. Do I have all the thing I need, or should I call some people like that? Right now I have 12 files on my desk that I look at every day, besides call people up and make appointment to show house, and also go out and show house to them. That's what keep me busy. And some day I don't have much, I can go home at 5. Some day I have if I show house at 6 and they say they want to write the offer, then we still have to come back and write offer. Then by the time I go home might be 7:30, 8, but I have to do it because tomorrow he gonna go to work and he only have time at the evening. If I don't do them, then the next evening will be too late. If someone else put an offer in, then we lost a deal. So it's just always competition. That's what I used to tell my my old manager, that I came to act with healthy, good eyesight, good blood pressure. Right now I have poor vision and have high blood pressure, and my health is going down. It's just this file is controlling. Okay, it's so control you. I think in this job, I can see that some of the job really control you, and I said, nobody need to tell me I have to do this and that. The file is so controlling me that if I can't do, I cannot go home. So I have to do it. And if I don't look at them, I cannot, nobody else look at them. So one time I saw my Filipino doctor, the one that take care of my twins. He's so busy, his job so busy. Sometimes he made appointment for me to see him, but the nurse told me, oh, he's still in delivery room in Sinai Hospital. Can you wait a little bit? I said, okay. And then someday I wait. He after checked me up, and I just dressing and come out. He already run the door. Someone else and deliver. He have to go. And I said, those days I didn't know how job can control you so much. And until I get this job, I think this is very, very controlling people's life. That's why a lot of real estate. I heard some real estate people that they don't do their job well. They don't let the job control them, and they okay too. But I'm not that kind of person. So if I'm gonna do something, I want to do it well and do it so that whoever come and get my service appreciate and think it's worthwhile, and it's that I take care of them. And they feel confident to refer their family and friend to see me. So that is acts or real estate. If what are you two gonna be doing? Are all of you gonna do in your future?
Oh, I'm an English major and I'm looking to go and get my master's and then PhD and then be a professor. Probably in like a cultural anthropology kind of a field.
Those fields are not controlling you, huh? I don't think so.
It's you have to write a lot of articles in order to have a job. So it kind of it's very self-managed, but there's a lot of you simply have to write.
I'm an architecture student,
Oh.
so I'll be an architect.
And I think anything that doesn't involve contract, you can do it or leave it for a day or two. But anything in contract that you have to meet the deadline, it's controlling people. And if you're not good, you can let it go. I deal with some agents that are not responsible enough to do their job. I have to end up calling them and telling them what to do, and that is it's. I don't know how somebody like that gonna be successful if you don't pay attention to your file and you don't follow all the steps through. So that could happen. But a lot of real estate come in and go because they're not successful because they are not, really put 100% on it.
I think I'm gonna move on and ask you some more questions about the community and the neighborhood more generally. So, since you've begun working with ACTS, over 20 years ago, how do you think the neighborhood has changed since then? And do you think ACTS had something to do with that?
Well, I think that it's still a lot of work to do. I don't know how we're gonna get better because a lot of time you think it's getting better, then something that out of our control happened, and then people lost job, and then they just cannot keep up, or a bad thing happen, then it just going back down again. But I feel that if we don't have to look for the whole neighborhood. Right now we are looking from block by block. And then if I put a family here and I ask that, okay, if you want to feel safe, if you see any house around your block for sale, and if you want your relative and friend move in there with you, you need to call us and we can try to put a deal together for your family or your friend so that you can help each other out. And that is our plan to educate our buyer to think that way, so that if not the whole city but the whole block, your block, you feel good about your block, then you okay to stay there. In the city of Milwaukee, it's like it's good block by block. Some block is so bad, dirty, ugly, but you go to the next block, nice, clean, everybody take care of their yard and no garbage like that. So there's still a lot of work to do, but we feel good that some of our buyers are doing good. And one thing that we think they're doing good is that they don't pay, if they live in our neighborhood here, they don't have to pay too much property tax. That property tax is low and they can save some money to help their children go to school. And I tell my buyer, well, if you think that you don't like your block, at least you can send your children go to school and help them. If they get high education, they got good job, maybe one day they can buy a dream house for you. But right now, this is all we can do, all you can do, all your money can afford. So stay here, okay? And I also educate my buyer that I used to live growing up, war all the time, bomb everywhere, and you lucky you not die, you not lucky it hit you, you die. So some of my friends died when we were little. So that is scary. But neighborhood right now is bad, but it's not that scary. So I say, you compare to that. So I say, okay, I think I can try to live with people, trying to talk to people. Like where I live now, I just try to make the best of it and be friend with my neighbor and get to know them, and that's it. I just, as much as we do, is there more to do.
I was actually going to ask you how it compared to Laos when you were there, and so you totally answered that. Kind of, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
But I guess one thing we haven't talked about really is your home. How did you get to the home you're in now? And I know you love your garden, so go ahead and talk about that if you want. How did you end up there?
I used to live around here my whole life in Milwaukee since the 80s. I moved probably close to 20 times around. I moved to West Alice for some couple years. Then moved to the north side. Moved everywhere. After 3 or 4 years, I'm not happy anymore. Then I moved. So I keep moving, and I moved to Greenfield for 10 years in Greenfield, and I live in Greenfield for 10 years. And after that, my children are grown and they marry and they all move out and leave me and my husband a big house and big mortgage, big property tax bill. So I told my husband, I'm not getting any younger, just older. I don't want to clean a big house. I don't want to pay property tax like $6,000 a year. And also in Greenfield, I travel over here. It take me like a good day 15 minutes, bad day might be 30 minutes. So I'll say, well, I decided that I told my husband we need to downsize. I'm not happy with this big house anymore. So he said, well, do the real estate, you do whatever. I just follow. I said, okay. Then I keep my eye on, and then I saw my house now. It was foreclosure, board up. All the windows are messed up. The roof is leaking. Everything in there is rotten. No good. And then actually I don't see it, but I have a buyer that want to see the house. So I said, okay, let's go see. And I made an appointment to show to 3 buyers. They all don't like the property, too much work, and it still sell like $28,000. The price still high compared to dollar house. It's messed up house, but compared to dollar house, it's still very pricey. So my buyers, none of them want to buy. And then I look at the yard and I said, well, it's close to my job, and I could use that yard. And all these messed up thing, it's good thing that it's messed up. I can have new thing. So I just decided, I told my husband, I'm going to put an offer on the house. He said, okay, fine. Then I write an offer on the house, and cash offer. And they accept me for $26,000 from 28 to 26, and I'll just buy that property. And I say, well, we need to put new roof, new door, new window, new cabinet, new floor, new some of the wall, and fix whatever we need to fix to meet our need. Put new driveway, build garage. We got a lot of land. We can build as big as we want. So so I'll just say, okay, we do some of the work, and we're gonna have contractor do some of the work, and then we clear everything down, and then put everything back up again, and then when I have contractor come and do my work, and they say, "Wow, I never see anything in the city look like this block. This block actually look good." And I say, "Did you like it?" They say, "Yeah." And then it just keep going and going. So at that time, that's in 2010, and I decided to fix it up. When you move from a small house to a big house, it's so easy because you got a lot of room for anything. But when I lived in a big house for 10 years, I in the past, I never buy brand new furniture or anything. I just buy used furniture. And then when we moved to the new house in Greenfield, I bought everything brand new and big furniture and everything, big dining set. Oh my God, coming into a small house is so difficult. So I have my son stay behind at the old house and say, we're gonna fix this new house, build the garage before we even can move anything out. So that's why we built a big garage, okay? And my neighbor said, "Wow, your garage is bigger than your house." I told my neighbor, "I got a lot of junk now. I need to put in there. The house is too small. It doesn't fit anything." So he said, "Oh, okay." Then even that, I cannot bring my dining set, so I give my dining set away with all the hutch and everything. Some of the furniture I was able to bring in, I cannot bring all. And then some of the junk that I collect, I just put in the garage. And I feel that when you find something that you have a vision to do, then you can buy something like that and don't have to look at the ugliness, but the room, the space, and think how you can do it, you can make it. So look beyond the ugly to buy a dirty foreclosure home. You got to have the vision like that. That's how I end up where I am. And like maybe he's there too, right? He's there too. Right? Measure? You come to measure? Yeah. He's not there? Okay. And then the next door to us was rental property, and I have a family there. The person there is very nice and everything, but she's renter. And before long, that property went into foreclosure. So they put a for sale sign on it, and I decided that if I don't buy that house, and that house is so close to my house, I am happy with this side of my neighbor because he's Puerto Rico, stay there a long time, they keep everything nice and clean, but I'm so worried about that property. So as soon as they put that house on the market, I say we got to buy that house. Otherwise, if that house brings problem, we're not gonna be happy in our house. So we buy that house right away. After they put on the market, I put an offer in right away, and we was able to buy that house. And my daughter moved next door to us. Then a house across the street was boarded up and vacant, nobody cut grass, nobody around, and then I don't know where the owner went. So I just look at the public record and I wrote a letter. I don't know what the owner is, so I sent to the address, the board account, and then I was hoping that the mailman will forward the mail to follow the owner. So I sent a letter to that owner, and I said, well, I see in public record that you are the owner of this property, but there's nothing have done to it, and grass is tall, everything is going down, but I have an interest of buying. Do you want to sell? Please contact me, blah blah blah. Then it went on for a month. Somebody called me and they said, yeah, they want to sell. And I said, okay, I'll put an offer in. And then she just said, well, it need a lot of work. Just give me a price. I said, okay. How about $15,000 cash? She said, okay. Now, at first, she thinks she can get the 15,000, right? Then later on, when we do the title, we found out that her mom owned the house, and mom passed away and give she inherits the house. But then the mom had used the house to apply for some loan and owe somebody over $40,000 home mortgage. And they say, unless that satisfied, I can't buy for 15. So we'll end up talk to the lender and say, well, can't she do short sale? Because she moved out of the house for 2 years, nobody lived there, it's boarded up, ugly, everything going down. Say, the lender say yes. So I was able to buy, and then the whole 15,000 doesn't go to her, it go to the bank instead of her, and she just signed the paper. But she have no interest of keeping the house because she said it's too much, go down. And I'm doing what I'm doing in my blog is I want to protect my blog so that I feel good and safe to come home. And then that house across the street from me, my son moved in and lived there. So it's good that he lived there. So every time my grass is tall, so, please come and help me cut my grass. I have no time there. I spend all my time on my garden. So I don't have time for my, sometimes my husband do, sometimes he do. So I think improve protecting your neighborhood is start if anyone just do what I'm doing on a block, and then you can be peaceful in your block, that is good. And then I don't want to improve in the neighborhood that already so good, they don't need improvement. And I'm telling you, this is the favor. I moved from a house that paid $6,000 plus property tax to $1,500 tax at this house. And I moved from a neighborhood that I cannot make friends. Everybody that I live over there, they don't want to be friends. Like everyone stay on their own. They have big yard, and they don't like to associate with each other. And over here, we all friends. And then I grow a lot of green. I pick my green I gave to my neighbor here. Try this. This is Asian stuff, you know. Green, bean, tomato, all those things. My neighbor, I just say, well, you try, okay? This is grow from my garden, and I make friends here. But I live in Greenfield for 10 years. I cannot make any friends. Yeah. And even...
I'm sorry, I'm going to break in. You can continue the conversation. Father Dennis is here. You have to be there with him.
Okay.
So.
We're done, right?
We have another interview scheduled. So we could probably do another interview, continue this if you wanted to. Would that work, or does Tom want to take over?
It doesn't matter.
I mean, we have all the Acts material. We have like because we're doing more Acts history.
Oh,
So I feel like you could ask all about it.
We need the Zoom recorder, right?
Wait, no.
Or
Is this the extra one? Let's send that out.
I mean, if anything, we can just, yeah.
Alright.
Or I can just talk with, because we just have the gardens left.
And maybe we could do walking in the gardens too, if that's at all possible. Okay. Well, I'm sorry to cut you off.
that's okay.
No, you have like the most amazing story in the entire world.
Maybe I talk too much.
No, no, you're talking the perfect amount. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off.